Good morning, everybody. I'm Terry, and happy Monday. Welcome back to all of you, or any of you, if you're here with me and I'm not here by myself, and welcome back to me as well. I have been gone a while, and as you can see, here is the reason. This was unplanned, but it was an emergency surgery. And I just feel so spiritually blessed and grateful um, that actually this happened, but it happened in a good way. I'm going to talk all about this emergency surgery that I had. This is going to be a several part vlog, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be a mini series. Um, Obviously, I didn't plan on this, but here I am in my uh, in my black bra and binder. So yeah, kind of looks like a bustier, but it's far from it. Um, Here's an overshare. I'm completely nude from the binder down, so I have to be very careful what I show. But I'm excited right now. I did debate in my mind about this for a few days whether I should make this or not, and I decided to most definitely make this. I feel that it will help so many other people, at least I hope. So yeah, welcome back to all of you guys, or just any of you guys if you're here with me and I'm not here by myself. Um, I have been out of the aftercare facility for about a week now. I'm going to talk all about that. Um, and at this point, I feel like my surgeon is an excellent surgeon. Um, Obviously, I had breast surgery because my implants had to be removed because of scarring issues, which is common, but it had to be done in a hurry. It got to that point. I'm in tremendous pain physically. Um, I am happy emotionally, although extremely I'm extremely anxious. I have been. I'm going to talk all about that. There's so much to talk about in regards to surgery and then to my experience with my particular surgery. So yeah, this is going to be a mini series on my channel. I want to bring as much information as possible, to help others, inspire others. I actually have been watching one channel during my recovery. This beautiful woman, what's her name? I forgot. It's the painkillers, but her channel is called Blended Together. Her circumstances are very completely different than my circumstances, but she talks about her surgery and everything that she went through before. um, I wasn't able to show everything that I went through before because I wasn't quite anticipating it, although I did know about it a few days before, but there was such a rush to make arrangements. This is how my series is going to be. And most importantly, um, I've said it before, I will proudly and lovingly say it again. I am the dearest animal advocate. Animals mean more to me than anything, and I say that with surety, um, with positivity, of course, but yeah, they mean more to me than anything. Um, but because of my love of animals and my overriding dearest desire to help them and to hopefully have an organization, a charity and organization, and everything else that I can for them in the future when it's possible, I'm trying to um, expand and publicize my social media presence. And in doing that, I also like to show that I'm a real person and I therefore go through real things in life, challenges, adversities, and also great things. So here I am. So let's go. Right now, I'm at home. I've been at home for about um, roughly a week. I am not mobile. Yes, I can walk perfectly fine. Getting up and laying down are the challenges, along with some other challenges. Uh, so I'll be talking about those. Here's I'm here's where I'm homed right now in my, I don't know if this is the living room I would call it or the formal room. Um, Here I am. Yes, I'm think very late to the game with Californication. But these series are like my sanity savers. Okay, let's see. So here I am. I've completely redone the living room. This took about, I would say, maybe a year and a half. Um, so here we are. I have this beautiful sofa. I have my coffee, as you can see. Um, this thing right here is my right hand. I bought the Dyson air purifier and humidifier, cooler, all in one. So I think, yeah, I purchased about three of those, so that because one does not purify the entire house, it does purify the room or the area it's in, and I like to breathe pure air for all reasons. So I have those. And then, of course, this is my other friend right here. This is the frame. It's nice, it works, fills its purpose. La 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 la. That's me. I have my candles all over the house. I always have high quality candles because I feel like those are the only ones that are worth having. Um, so yeah, security inside, outside, everywhere. Hidden cameras, visible cameras connected to the LAPD and the company, because even though I'm in a very nice neighborhood, I like to have security. Here are my organic version of sweet tarts. These I discovered yesterday at the market. I went with my assistant. She is the cutest, most positive, wonderful little lady. Coffee, ice water. This is another friend. Back scratcher. I bought that fork for that purpose. Oh my god. Okay, so I don't know why I just said that. I didn't mean to say God. I think it's a long dying habit, what I used to say like many moons ago. I'm spiritual now, by the way. So yeah, so I let's see here. It's going to be hard holding this phone up. I'm not using the tripod right now. I didn't have her pull it, drag it over here. So what happened is that we're in May, um, April, May. It takes a little bit of effort for me to really get all my thoughts together right now because, yes, I admit it. In the aftercare facility, which is a gorgeous place in LA, I agreed to take some Demerol shots because the first and second day I was there for about 2 days. I extended my days to stay there because um, I just really needed to. Yeah, so I took the Demerol shots. Yes, I preach, no chemicals, everything natural. But it's different when you're out of a surgery like this, and I'm sure it's different for everybody. It varies. I was in a lot of pain, and I don't cry about it, do something about it. So I did. The doctor ordered it as an option, and I took it the first and second days. Um, he did offer me Norco. And obviously I couldn't take the Demerols home with me, the shots. So I'm here 24/7 with somebody, which is the way I prefer it because I thought even overnight I could just get in and out of bed to go pee. But the reality is, I found out that I can't get in and out by myself. I have a really nice adjustable bed, um, but even when bring it back down to its original position, I'm not able to get in and out by myself. So I'm camping out. um, in the daytime I camp out on the sofa. So let's get to the reason for the surgery. So I had implants, of course, and one of them had scarred. I had dropped a 20-pound weight when I was working out with my trainer. I think it was about 6 years ago. Yes, I've let it go that long. And it had um, calcified and scarred, and it was very tight. But I just lived with it. I knew that I would have it fixed eventually. But it came to the point where last month the doctor told me not only is this one scarred, but it's actually progressed to become far more scarred and hardened. And this one he suspected had broken, which I had no idea. Um, I was going to have them removed. It's one of those stupid things I did, a while ago, which I regretted anyways. However, the reactions that I always had from um, people, male, females, oh my God, they look so good. Um, but no, I was never really happy with them. And that's the truth of how I felt and still feel. And I'm so happy that they're out. I have my perky breasts still, but they're naturally perky now. I can begin to see the other side. A few days ago at one of my follow up appointments, it was my third follow up actually within the week. They took all of these off at the surgeon's office, and I was like, okay, now I can begin to see the shape of things, and I really, really love it. I'm so blessed. And I realize that perhaps I'm coming from a place of privilege in my mode of recovery, depending on how you define privilege. Um, so last month he told me, this is necessary. You could wait longer, but you shouldn't, to have this done. So I was scrambling around to make preparations. Necessary preparations. And so I'm going to be very real here. Um, in addition to, the preparations that you should be making, I also um, got around a lot. I feel like I briefly touched on this before. I have a sexual compulsion, so I felt like I better stock up. And if you know, and if you don't, research it. Anyways, that's kind of all I'm going to say about it right now. So, I made some questionable decisions in doing that with several different men. This is life, this is real. And then I was running around making other preparations, finding a good facility after the surgery because I decided I was not going to come right home. The facility I went to is lovely. Um, it's in LA, um, but I felt like I'm not going to mention the name, but I felt like they could have done some things better. Here's what was just about perfect with them, though. The nurses there are unparalleled. Excellent nurses, dedicated, skilled, and just so wonderful. I know the first day out of surgery, I it was probably with me it was comical because I came out of surgery saying things that I wouldn't normally say. Um, they took me in some black vehicle. I don't I had my eyes closed the entire time. They wheeled me out of surgery into the vehicle, which was an SUV, and to the facility, which is just gorgeous. It's a suite. You do get your own suite, but I feel like what for when you can't move around and enjoy it because it's an enjoyable place. But there I was on the bed the entire 2 days that I was there. The nurses were just amazing, and I can't even say that one was better than the other. That's how good they were. But on my on the morning of the eve when I was there, I met one nursing assistant, this Hispanic lady who she was just lovely. So I would say I think she was my favorite one. There was another one there too. She's Jessica. She was also absolutely wonderful. Um, so I was really worried about the surgery. I was really concerned when it was like the my last free day, I'll say that's when it all hit me, and I was really concerned. I went into this surgery, and I have to say, with one of the best and most reputable anesthesiologists. Blah, anesthesiologists. Um, Dr. Cohen, and he could sense how I felt. So between the bad jokes, which were actually they were funny, but he's had forever experience in this, and I just have to say, you get the clearest view of everything in hindsight. It really is. They say it's 2020, I say it's 2015, and when I look back on it and how good he really was, that he made the surgery so smooth, cuz I was terrified, and the morning that I went into the office for the surgery, I was so terrified, in fact, that I expected everything to be so much more formal than it was. It was an in-office procedure. There was a lot involved because I had waited so long to have this done that the scarring was extensive. So it was the surgeon, who was also so excellent. He pulled it off so smoothly. But I was terrified at the last minute. So it was me. But then I found out later that it's not the surgery. The surgery went so smooth. It's the recovery that is so difficult. Again, it varies from person to person, but it's just so difficult. So the morning of surgery, I walked into the office. Um, this surgeon's office staff are a reflection of the surgeon himself, and the staff are just, they too are so amazing. I'd been dealing with them for the last month or so. Amazing, amazing women in that office. I have to say. Um, Wonderful office. And on the morning of, actually on the evening, the eve of, the anesthesiologist called me on the phone. We spoke. He asked me a lot of questions. We spoke for a good amount of time because that's how this office is, and I think that's wonderful. Not offices, not all offices are like that. So we spoke. The next morning when I went in, he was there bright and early, like everybody else. He is more humble than I thought he would be, being who he is. Um, he did his best to set me at ease, like I said, with the bad jokes. He's been at this for the longest time. Um, he was previously, as I was told, after the surgery, he worked with Dr. Glassman. So, you know, his level of skill. And so the reason I brought that up is because when I was on the table, almost ready to go under, he told me, and don't you worry, I've already watched at least 2 YouTube videos, so I know what I'm doing. So at the time, I couldn't laugh because I was dramatically staring up at the ceiling with wide doe eyes, holding the nurse's hand, and then cutting my eyes over to her and saying, "Oh, just stop." And she looked at me, she smiled, and I told her, I just want everything to go safely. She said it will. I didn't believe her. And the next thing I know is that, well, I told her, I'm feeling kind of weird in a really good way, you know? That moment that you feel yourself going under if you've been in a situation like this in surgery. And that's all I said because the next thing I knew is that they were waking me up and I was screaming about my heart. And they said, no, that's just the bra. And I said, now die me heart. They said, no, 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 it's just the bra. And I said, so no die? And the answer was, nope, no die. So they were getting me up. I know that one of the ladies in the office had told me before the surgery that she was going to have me walk to the vehicle because she wanted me to walk, but I was in such bad shape that they did wheel me out to the vehicle. For a facility like that, they come and pick you up. I will say this: the ride was very bumpy, even in the nice mode of transportation that they had. I'm so glad that the seat did go back. Um, a nurse does ride with you right next to you in the back. So she was with me. There was a nurse. She was able to lower the back seat. I'm so grateful for that. When they got me to the facility, to the um, little suite, um, they have an adjustable bed. The bed was e- just really too high, but you know, they have a stool there. They have like 3 or 4 nurses helping you into the bed, adjusting you, then going off of the surgeon's orders in the way that they need to adjust the bed. Um, as long as the orders are that you can drink and eat, which I could. They still had an IV attached to me though, just for an emergency. I was allowed to eat and drink. Surprisingly, all functions with me went well right from the start. I just wasn't feeling it, that's all. I could pee, although when you're coming off of anesthesia, um, urinating is a process where it's it's like kind of like stop and go, and that's because, as one of the really beautiful nurses told me, is because your body's coming off of the anesthesia. And this was right after surgery. I mean, I don't think it had even been an hour, so I was doing really great considering that. They would come and get me in and out of the bed. At one time, the call button stopped working, so that was like kind of like a panicky situation for me because I waited for a while, but after half an hour, you start to panic. Maybe, I mean, I didn't show it, it was in my mind, and then I got angry. So, but besides that, that was the first day and night. They brought me water, whatever you want to drink that you're allowed to, some salmon, and a little bit of salad. I started choking on the salmon. The salmon was, it was so delicious, so it wasn't the food. Um, Sometimes I have difficulties swallowing. So I felt like that's what had happened, and that was really bad at that point. So it was not them, it was me. So that was the last of that salmon. They put it in the fridge inside of my room. I never got to eat it, unfortunately, but it was really good. Um, the rest of the night, I munched out on cookies and saltines. Yes, the actual saltines. They actually can save your sanity. Also, also when you're having issues with, I know some people have issues with like tummy issues, digestive issues. My problems were swallowing, but even though the crackers are dry, with some soda and some water and some hot tea, I just made do with it, and it really helped me feel better and helped me to get over my nausea. um, they did give me Demerol shots. I felt it was necessary. The Demerol shots actually felt like they were helping me emotionally and mentally. They were like giving me some peace that nothing else really was at the time, and I was able to sleep. Um, I was in and out of sleep, but the moments when I was sleeping, I felt like I had a good sleep. Um, Again, the nurses, they had to come in and out a lot to help me get out of bed to go pee. And I would never want this, but at one point I wondered out loud to one of the nurses the next morning, why didn't they just leave the catheter in? Because it's so difficult to get in and out of the beds at that facility, particularly because I feel like they were too, the bed was too high, too cushy. And when you're fresh out of surgery, I don't know, for me, it was difficult. And she was like hearing me wonder out loud because she was standing next to me in the bathroom, which was also gorgeous. But how can you enjoy it when you're not allowed to shower? Um, you're only allowed to go to pee and get back into bed. So she told me it's because they want you to walk. I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense, but I just didn't feel like getting in and out of that bed again. That's how it was the first night. The next morning, and that nurse that I'm talking about, she was like the one that came to be my favorite nurse. Well, she was nursing assistant, she said. So, she was there to brush my hair out of my sweaty, slimy face. She was there to take a wet cloth to my face to suggest that when I was feeling the most horrendous migraine headache, to not take another Demerol shot for the time being and to drink some strong coffee with a cold ice compress behind my neck, which actually did make me feel better. She was there a lot of the times. The next morning on her shift, she spent a lot of time with me. Um, um, she helped adjust these 4x4 pads and the foam that I'm wearing under my black bustier thing. And I'm glad they gave me black at least, you know. um, so here's the thing. There's so much to talk about. I hope I don't leave things out, which I probably will, because there's so much to talk about. One of the things, you know, is that, throughout my life, I frequently heard people say how much they hate hospitals or whatever. I've never had any physical health problems, although I've had emotional and, stuff like that, a lot of issues. But anyway, so I've never found myself landing in a hospital, but after giving birth to my gorgeous, beautiful, perfect baby, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I had bleeding issues. I needed blood transfusions. It was an entire mess. I didn't mind being in the hospital. I don't mind hospitals. In hospitals, you have mommies and daddies who take care of you. I felt safe. I felt safe because I felt like there are mommies and daddies there. They help you. They take care of you. So I didn't mind being in the facility for this surgery, long story short. Um, normally, normally, for the most part, everybody, and I mean, there are some pretty, I'll say bougie. I mean, I'm bougie, but admittedly, but there are some important people who come in and out of that particular facility. Even they stay just overnight and then they're taken to their follow up the next morning and they are picked up and taken home the next day. But for me, I felt like I was in no shape to go home the next day, even though I have people here with me 24/7. Um, so I stayed an extra day, and even looking back now, it was very necessary. In fact, the shape that I was in, normally for this surgery and the surgeon that I'm with, the patients are scheduled for an in-office follow-up the very next morning. My surgeon decided not to have me come for a follow-up. He decided to come see me at the facility himself, which I think was great of him to do. So he came not that morning, but that night, and all the nurses love him. So he has the most one of the most excellent reputations in all of California. Um, and I suspect it's also because of his attitude and his personality, which is great. So, you know, and even when I was told about having needing this surgery, I did go for some consults to different surgeons. I did very thorough research, um, and I chose him for those and many more reasons. So he came to see me. He looked at my stitches and everything. He was happy with his work. And then um, I stayed till the day after, and that's when I was taken home. About the facility, it's gorgeous. There's wonderful caretakers there. Those nurses, again, I have to emphasize how amazing they were to me, and I'm sure with the other patients that have been there and will come through there. But um, because it's a hotel, first and foremost, you know, the hotel has cobblestone, um, you know, grounds outside. And that's not good when you're out of surgery, because when they wheeled me out the day that I was going to be picked up to go home, when you're in a wheelchair or even, I'm sure, in a gurney, any mode that you're being wheeled out over cobblestones, it hurts like a bitch and it's not good. for your recovery. And they were wheeling me over that. Um, you're housed in a private area in this hotel, okay? Of course, you know. But when they put me on the elevator, I felt like people who were staying at the hotel, we bumped into a couple people, which is not, it's not good when you're in a robe and you're in a wheelchair, and I had drains in me. And then when we got past that, taking me to the entrance, which is also the exit of the hotel, and we're in LA. It's a mixed breed of people in LA currently. If you've read the news or whatever, and I mean, LA has always been LA, but now it's even more so LA crazy. So there's this guy outside the entrance, and he's mentally sort of deranged, and he's outside the entrance. I'm in a wheelchair surrounded by about four nurses, five, maybe even six, but it's not enough. And the owner was there, and at one point I asked her, "Who's that guy out there?" Because we're waiting for the people to come pick me up to take me home. And her response was, "Oh, he just has issues." Well, he must be doing this a lot. And how can you these are the things that you need to um, make alternate arrangements for when you have a facility like this. Because I feel like that's the route that every patient, regardless of who you are, coming through that aftercare facility goes through. Um, Even if they're staying just overnight, the next morning when they are being taken by the facility, driven to their post-op appointment, they're going the same route that I went. And if they're encountering this guy and he must be a regular because she knew all about him, that's not good. So, any rate, I was very uncomfortable about the entire way it was handled, which had nothing to do with the nurses. I just want to say that the nurses there were just they were just wonderful. Once I was brought home, it felt touch and go. I felt very uncomfortable. I felt itchy. I felt like I was in pain. Um, I started weaning myself off of the Norcos even before I took them because I decided I'm going to take the minimal dosage, actually less than the recommended dosage. And for like few days, yeah, a few days, they made me feel good even emotionally because they were like the Demerol. I've never taken Vicodins. I don't believe in those. But then, if you don't believe in those, why would you take Norcos? Because at the time, I still have pain, but I'm not taking anything now. And in fact, I'm looking forward to going back onto my supplements, my A, B, C, D's, E, zinc, ashwagandha, and everything else that I was taking before the surgery, and my algae oil, which I had to stop a couple weeks before the surgery, of course, because fish and algae oils are blood thinners, but they're so good for your eyes, skin, hair, everything. So, anyways, when I came home, despite the fact that I actually like hospitals, I'm just a different breed of person. I felt so much better being at home because my house has been prepared for the recovery after my surgery. I prepared it. I feel really good here. I've been feeling good here. I do have my touch and go moments, which are extreme, but I don't cry about it. It's just not my thing. It's just crying doesn't change anything, so just deal with it. In fact, I have two very lovely people here with me 24/7. They live here with me, and one of them was talking to me one day when I was peeing, and she said she knows somebody who, is loosely connected with taking care of some celebrities after their surgeries. And I knew she was going to start telling me stories, at least I thought, so I was excited, right? I mean, human nature. Wouldn't you be excited? I was, at any rate. So, and she told me that her friend told her that they had one celebrity, an actress in particular, who was just like nagging and crying, so much after her surgery. And some people do. I mean, why wouldn't you? If your depends on your threshold, right, for pain or whatever other conditions that you're feeling after surgeries. So I was laughing a little because I can't laugh hard, you know. I have stitches, I have incisions. My drains have been out for a couple days, and that's another thing that I'm so grateful for because I am now connection free. Having drains in you is an experience that I would guess nobody wants to experience if they don't have to. But if you have ever had drains in you, then it's kind of a good thing because when you have them out of you, you feel this freedom. So I had the drains for a few days. I had two of them. And I'm very overcautious in some areas of my life. I'm paranoid. So even though everybody kept telling me, you don't have to hold the drains, I would constantly hold the balls, the receptacles of the drains, because I didn't want them, you know, being pulled by accident or something. So it was like it felt like this whole entire burden. And but for all reasons, I'm just glad that they're out. When drains are being pulled out of you, there is an unpleasant sensation. Um, I wouldn't really call it pain, but it's unpleasant. It's weird in a bad way, but once it's out, it's out, and it's you don't feel any discomfort after that. You're just glad that they're out. So, I right after the surgery, I've been able to walk. I actually purchased two canes, like nicer looking ones, because I thought, oh my God, am I going to be able to walk? I was able to walk perfectly fine. I can't, and I'm shouldn't be running, so I don't run. But um, the two wonderful people who've been here with me 24/7 comment, oh, you walk so fast, hold up, you know. So I've gotten that. In fact, even in the facility right after the surgery, a couple of the nurses were commenting on, oh, you're walking so well, you walk fast actually. So that was another thing, you know, going back and forth to pee in the restroom. I had one of the wonderful nurses encouraging me not to take Demerol shots if possible. She's one of the ones who gave it to me, but I was describing to her when I woke up later and she was standing by the bed. I was telling her, oh my God, I didn't know that it can make you feel good emotionally, can help you. And she was standing there listening to me and watching my face and shaking her head, shaking a big no. And I was like, no, she's, don't do it. So they look out for the best for you over there. And I was like, you know what, you're such a good person, you know. And I wouldn't let it get to that point anyways, you know, because for me after a while the effects wear off. So it's like an auto weaning, which is good, but I worked on weaning myself anyways, because like I said before, I couldn't really take it home with me. This is turning into a longer vlog. I'm going to have another part to this. There's just so much that I want to say. But here's the thing, if you're worried about surgery, and I think it's a good thing for me to say this, I hope, for people, is that have faith. Don't worry about the surgery. It's the recovery actually that's harder than the surgery. If you have good surgeons, feel blessed, okay? Because I was worried about the surgery, but what I remember is I went to sleep and I woke up. It's the recovery that's difficult, but that's a good thing, right? Because you're getting through the surgery healthy, fine. I know for some people, for a lot of people, there are complications. I'm so thankful and grateful that there were not complications. And for those that do have complications, I really wish you the best because um, you come out of it at different for different people, different places, mentally, emotionally, as well as physically after, different types of surgery. And I my days are filled with anxiety because I'm so excited now. um, this is going to be, actually, honestly, this is going to be a three-part surgery, so I am going to go back into surgery, but now I don't have that same worry. It's like, I guess you could compare it to maybe something like bungee jumping, or what, however you want to make yourself feel better about it. But once you've done it and gotten through it, and then you feel like, oh, I did so well, then you know that you can do it if you have to do it again. And so I know this next year for me is going to be a year of recovery. I had not anticipated it happening at this time, but it has, and I'm glad because it's going to be done. And I have an exciting life to live after this. I have so many plans for my animal rescue and advocacy. My love of animals is I feel unmatched. And that's just the thing. My days are filled with anxiety because I want to get on with it now. I want to get on with the next phase in my life. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. And then in turn that brings the anxiety, like I can't do anything right now. I'm not mobile even though I can walk. We've been to the market this past week, but it's hard. But then I have so much to be so thankful for, and I am. So here's part 1 of my emergency surgery. I would love to read your comments. I would love for you to subscribe. I would love to read your suggestions, your experiences, or if you're going into surgery. Um, and of course, I would love to read your love of animals, um, any suggestions, comments, anything. Keep it positive. And I am so happy about this, and I'm excited to bring more information. If you have questions, feel free to ask anything that you would like. And thank you for being here with me with part 1 of my emergency surgery vlog. Have a great week. Bye.